Okay, here with Greg Barton, Mr. Epic, and two-time Olympic gold medal. That's correct.
Yes.
Yep. And he went to 2 or 3 Olympic Games, and now very, very much involved in ocean paddling, courtesy of the race here and races in America, and also his involvement from over a long period of time with Epic. Welcome, Greg.
Yeah, good to be here. It's always nice to be in Hawaii.
It is. Are you racing this year?
Yeah, doing the crossing. This will be, I think, either 8th or 9th crossing for me.
Fantastic. And how are you finding it? I mean, having had a background in the kayaks, you weren't. Did you originally involved in surf, or is it something you've learnt over time?
My first surf ski race was actually the Molokai race in 1989, the year after I'd won 2 gold medals. And I came over here completely naive, thought that I'm the fastest paddle in the world, I'm good at endurance, how hard can a crossing be? And obviously I had a lot to learn on how to harness the waves, and I think Oscar beat me by about 45 minutes that year. So yeah. I was way back, and since then I've been intrigued and gotten more time in various water conditions and keep coming back and hoping to do a little better each time. At my age now, 57 years old, I have no illusions of winning, but if I can be reasonably close to the top paddlers and outside shot at a top 10, that'd be fun.
Great. And the conditions in the first year you did it, obviously they weren't what they forecast to be on Sunday.
No, I think if the conditions had been like that, I would have finished a lot higher and a lot closer. I mean, that was back in the days when that year after year, it seemed like almost every year had really good, strong downwind conditions. And unfortunately, more recently, they haven't been that way.
It's interesting because, I've heard that it was always downwind, and in theory, when you look at all the conditions, even now, it should be the case, but every time it happens to pop up on race day, they just get that bad luck of the not necessarily the wind of recent, which makes us hope that for the next few years we're going to get some great winds. But have the conditions changed, or is it just, do you think it's just a bad luck?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I mean, I have heard that whether it's global warming or just global weather changes, that the trade winds aren't quite as steady as they were, say, 30 years ago. But still, even today, I think if you look on average, there's probably good trade winds 70-80% of the time. And so logically, 7 or 8 out of 10, we should have a good downwind. I mean, the one man's had a good downwind a couple weeks ago, and last year the one man's had a good one. The subs seem to have good downwinds, and for some reason, whether it's bad luck or karma or whatever, just out of the last 10 years, there's been a very high percentage, much more than you would think, of light winds. Yeah,
definitely. Now, back to your paddling and what have you. You ever get in the K1 much now still?
I still do occasionally. I mean, I do probably 80% of my paddling is in a surf ski, and I'll paddle a few other types of boats, including K1 from time to time.
So you've been involved in designing a lot of the Epic shapes. How long have you been involved in Epic and making surf skis or designing surf skis?
Okay, I started Epic Paddles in 1997, and then 2001 we got into kayaks, became Epic Kayaks, and they were initially sea kayaks for recreational paddling. It wasn't until 2005 that we designed the V10, our first surf ski. So it's been about 12 years now we've been doing surf skis.
Great. Well, I didn't know that. So, I mean, a lot of people who paddle these skis see these really great-looking skis now, and not, to actually know where it evolved from is great. From sea kayaks, like you say. Yeah.
And I think it's really helped as well, because initially there was a period where the surf skis were becoming very specialized, and you had to really be a high-caliber, high-skilled paddler to paddle them, especially in a crossing like Molokai. And since then, we've put a big push to have a whole range of surf skis, all the way from the V8 up to the V10, V12, V14, so that it really allows a lot more people to participate in the sport. And even the more stable boats are still pretty high performing. They're not that much slower than the fast boats, so anybody can go out and have a good time with them.
And that's great. I mean, I do a bit of coach with beginners and that as well, and it's great to know that you've got a boat, no matter what their shape or size or experience. If they've never been in a boat, you can still get them in a boat and they can be comfortable.
Yeah, and I think that's the way to make the sport grow, is you've got to have a way that people can get into the sport, they don't feel intimidated, they can have fun, because the quickest way to discourage someone is have them swim the first 10 times they try it. And if they can get in, feel comfortable, feel stable, actually catch a run, ride it, surf it, turn on to the next one, then they're hooked.
And there's the old adage, and I've seen that a bit this week, is that it's not necessarily the fastest ski that's the fastest ski, it's the ski you're most comfortable with. And you see that a lot with beginners and intermediates, wanting to jump in a quick boat initially, and it's not always the best move. And I paddle with guys who are on boats that are not as quick as the boat I'm in, yet their speed is fantastic because they're comfortable in the boat.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people overestimate how important stability is, and they think that they see, Hank McGregor won in this boat, or Corey Hill won in this boat, or Clint Robinson won in this boat, I should have that. But if their skill level is not the same, I mean, the differences between the fastest boat out there and the slower boats is only a few percent in speed.
Interesting,
and if you are losing 20% or more of your power, that's way more than the difference in the boats.
Yep.
So it really is important to get a boat that you're capable of. And I think that the problem you run into, if you take a sport like bicycling, you can take a $100 bicycle and you can take a $10,000 carbon fiber bicycle, and the skill level required to ride both of those is pretty similar. But if you take an entry level, say a V8 or another stable entry boat, and then elite racer's boat, there's a huge difference in the skill level required to paddle those.
Yeah, definitely. And in the race this year, there's a few guys. There's one guy that you raced with when you won the K2000 in Seoul. There's one of the guys that you raced in. They ended up getting third. Peter Foster, who's now racing this year. And you also had a great battle with Clint Robinson and Knut Holman in the 1992 Olympics. It'd be great to renew acquaintances with some of your old combatants.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Clint numerous times over the years. We've worked together, so I've been in steady contact with him. But I saw Peter Foster for the first time a couple of days ago since 1988, since we raced against each other. And it's really good to reconnect with people that from my past, and it was fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, Greg. It's great to chat to one of the forefathers of really of ocean paddling in terms of design and involvement with boats and involvement in races. So it's been great to chat to you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I look forward to going out and having another good crossing.
Yeah, I hope you have fun.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Regardless, it's always fun.
Yeah.
It may not be fun when you're half an hour from the finish and feeling dead, but once you cross the finish line and think about it the next day, it's definitely fun.
Yeah, definitely. Great. Thank you.
All right.